Welcome back, everyone, to the Student Media Podcast. I am with Deacon Tuttle as always. He's my co-host. He's my man. Deacon, how's it going, dude?
Doing well. It's a great week. We're starting to experience a little bit of the sun and combat the wind in Ellensburg. So,
Yeah,
we can finally hit the link sometime soon.
I hate the wind
And we've
so
been talking
much.
about
I
it.
hate the wind. There's nothing good about the wind that like people like me can partake in. It's just not fun. Um, but anyways, our guest today is the lovely and the very professional Terri Reddout, and very happy to have you back on. It's awesome. It's always fun talking to you because I don't know, you have such good stories all the time, but
It's true.
I feel like you have a story for every single occasion. So Terri, welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Real quick, I just wanted to say, yesterday was Memorial Day, so just give a little shout out. Thank you to everyone who sacrificed for our country, made the ultimate sacrifice, and without all the people who've served and unfortunately those who've lost their lives, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that we do today. So, happy Memorial Day to everybody, and thank you guys for your service. Those of you who have passed and all of that. So, thank you very much. Anyways,
Amen to that.
moving on. Terri, I got some breaking news last week, and I know beforehand you said that you don't really know what's going on, but just if you could break down what is happening and what you do know, that would be great. So I had heard that you, longtime legend, great CWU professor that you
Yes.
are planning to step away in the future, as in the fall. Is that correct? Because you're currently teaching CW right now.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
this spring is my last quarter on campus. So I may, if the need comes up, I may teach an online class on occasion. I'm teaching a class this summer online. But after that, I'm gone.
It's just
in the wind.
Has this been planned, or were you just kind of thinking about it, or just
Well,
things took a turn?
I told a couple people that I was leaving, and I said that my goal was to leave before I became a grumpy old professor.
What?
I think I'm about 6 months off.
6 months away or 6 months over?
Oh, I'm over.
Oh, no.
I'm over.
Well,
I'm over.
Well, that's okay, Terri, because then that means we're going to keep you a little bit longer around. So, you can endure. You can endure for everybody here.
So you're saying the Deacon and I had you in the 6 month over period, because I don't think I ever experienced the grumpy Terri that you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe last 6 weeks.
Okay,
Right,
there we go.
Okay, there we go.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't get to see our lovely faces every day, so I wouldn't blame you.
If I did, I'd still have the senior slide. I'm sorry, boys.
That's okay. That's totally understandable. Terri, the last time that we had you on was prior to our C&W class that we actually took with you. So how'd you feel? We've been talking about it for a while. How'd you feel about our performance?
I'm supposed to be truthful, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, I think you guys did amazing. So you guys, just like, you're probably the poster boys for here's where we started, here's where we ended, and there's supposed to be a difference between the two. It's supposed to be better over here. I mean, I remember your first stories were a little rough, and frankly, I mean, if you took it a second time, you would look at your last story and go, that's a little rough.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so much better than what you first turned out, and like I tell everybody, the first story you turn in, it's a freaking miracle. I mean, if you can you've gone out, found a story, found somebody to interview, found video, had to figure out how to edit, how to write in Rundown Creator, how to link audio to video, what the flow should be, actually do the physical editing, figure out the audio levels and all that kind of stuff. That's your first damn story.
Yeah.
So, the fact that the person you interviewed is in the center and their chin is right here at the bottom of the screen, we're going to overlook that, and maybe let's work on that next week.
Yep.
You know,
and
it may or may not have their name and their title on the thing, but they're there and they're talking and they're giving quotes, right?
That's right. So, you know, and an English speaker can probably follow along what you're saying, you know, that kind of stuff. But, you know, by the end of the quarter, I'm hoping that you're framing your interviews right and you're getting a soundbite or some kind of natural sound within the first 15 seconds, that your writing is cleaner, you know, that there's actual flow, you have an end to your story, you know, that you've got more than 2 pieces of video in your story, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for. So the first one is the miracle. After that, it's all learning.
Yeah.
Like, with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you're stepping away from teaching CNW after this quarter, is that a bit of a relief that you're not going to have to go through kind of that monotonous teaching the whole thing over and over and over again? Or is it actually like, are you emotional thinking that you're not going to go back to that and you're not going to get to break it down from day one to see what you're talking about with that starting period where someone's at here and then where they end here?
Yeah. I'm going to miss seeing that progression, you know, because everybody goes through it, even the worst people in the class. And there are bad people in the class that just don't do as well, you know, but even they show some progress. And okay, talking about Terri stories. When I was going to school here, my mom was the advisor to the junior high drill team. And she conned me into coming back home, and I choreographed and coached this junior high drill team. And they did this little dance and whatnot. The girls who were in the front row, oh my gosh, they were amazing. They were tall and they could kick right and all that kind of stuff. They were on time. They were beautiful. The girls in the last row were struggling. and frankly, when and it was a junior high team going to the high school to do their halftime show, you know, so the high schoolers are so cool and all this good stuff, and these little junior high kids are there.
Intimidating.
Yeah, it is intimidating. There was one little gal in the third row who, when she went out on that floor, she looked up out at the audience and she did the steps. You know, did she kick as high as the girls in the front row? No. Did she, you know, whatever, but she was the one I was the most proud of because she had made the most progress. You know, the other girls, they had dancing lessons since they were 8 years old. You know, this girl really worked hard and overcame a lot of obstacles, and, you know, both physical and mental. And she was the one I was the proudest of. And that's the same thing, you know, with these guys. I mean, you guys kind of came in more talented than maybe some other people with shucks, with maybe some of those kind of basic skills type of thing. And so you were ahead of the game. But other people, you know, just aren't, you know, and they've heard that I'm intimidating and scary and mean. And so they're all, you know, they've got all that kind of psychological noise in their head. And, you know, if I can just get them to get a script out and somehow tie some video and some audio to it, that's a win.
Progress is a funny thing, right? Like how we look at progress, because sometimes here's an example. I'm going to pull myself all the way back to my freshman year of high school. I was playing football, and it was only that would have been my third year ever playing football. And I just remember I like fell in love with it the first year I started playing, which was 7th grade. And then I just remember going into my freshman year of high school wanting to play a position or like a skill position. You know, they wanted to make me a lineman. I wasn't even really a big kid, so I didn't think I should have even been a lineman to begin with. I thought I should be running the ball in some fashion. And I worked really, really hard to make sure that I didn't become a lineman because I was like, I'm not going to play line. I don't want to. It's not what I
Mm-hmm.
think I should be doing. And at the end of the year, I was awarded, they did the team awards, and I was awarded like most, I don't remember what it was, like
Improved,
most,
dedicated.
yeah, most improved
That's
offensive player.
awesome.
And I remember like getting the award, and I was like, I wasn't happy about it. I was like, I was like, most improved. I was like, did that imply that I sucked at the beginning and I wasn't good,
Yeah,
or like
the semi-slight.
yeah, I was like, I don't really understand. But then afterwards, you realize it's not necessarily because you were bad at it. It's just because you took a lot of steps to become way better than you were before. And
Yeah.
then that same thought has kind of stuck with me in everything that I do. It's like, if I start here and it's not what I think it is, or I'm not as good as I think it is, someone will tell you, oh, you've gotten way better at this. It doesn't mean that you suck to begin with. It just means
No.
that you're taking strides and people are actually noticing that you were doing those things to get better. So
Yeah.
I took it in the wrong way, and I felt some way about it. But now when I think about it, and afterwards I thought about it, I see what it means now. And I've learned there's so many times I've applied that in college so far, which has been pretty tremendous, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think so many times, oh my God, I've got 2 decades of stories of people, turn in their first script and they think, oh my gosh, this is going to be the best script Terri has ever seen in her entire life. She will read the script, get up and sing and dance, cry, all that kind of stuff. And then I look at it and I go, well, this sucks. And I know that, it's really like a, slap in the face type of stuff. I mean, you put your heart and soul into it. And I realize that, I recognize that, but it does suck. And, as I always tell them, I'm going to tell you it sucks. I'm going to tell you why it sucks. And I'm going to help you make it suck less, and that's a hard lesson for people to hear. I mean, for years, everybody said, oh, and Terri will yell at you. No, I never yelled at anybody. You just heard it sucks. And that was blaring through your head, type of thing. And eventually you learn to listen to, here's why it sucks. And eventually you got to here's how you can make it suck less type of thing. And then suddenly I'm not as mean or as intimidating. I'm just trying to push you to be better.
Exactly.
And that's a real world application though, like you're not going to get out and find a job and then they're going to be like, this was really not your best work, so keep doing what you're doing there. Maybe just change a couple things here and there. It's like, hey, you turned it in, you got the job done. Thank you. But we can't be doing it like this. There's a way to do it, and that's not it. And, you're going to figure it out over time, and I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to hold your hand through it because that's not how it works,
Yeah.
So it's like, some people just aren't used to that though. Some people don't, they came up through elementary school, middle school, high school, and they were coddled in a way. And it's like, you just kind of miss out on that. So whenever it hits you when you're in college, or, you get a professor like you who, like I've always said, Terri will tell it to you straight. And I've always respected that because I'm a person who likes that. It's like, just tell me what I did wrong and how I can fix it. And I'll get on it next time. I promise.
Yeah.
Terri, I would label it as harsh encouragement. And I think that's good. We had a little dispute with maybe like my 4th or 5th story about like me writing it. I'm like, I love the way this sounds. And you're like, it's not good. You're like, there's no context for that. I'm like, the context is here. Let me tell you the context. And then we talked about that. I'm like, now I understand. And I'm like, but I still like it. And it's still my story. So I'm going to keep it that way.
Yeah. No. And, I mean, the bottom line is it's harder for me to coach you guys at the end of the quarter. It's harder for me to coach somebody that's come back the second time. It's really hard for me to coach somebody that's done it 3 times, because the first time you're lost, the second time you realize how much you know and how much you don't know. And then the third time it's kind of like you start to pull it all together. And, at first it's, I look at it and I go, oh my gosh, there's a dirt clod there. There's a dirt clod there. I can't get all the dirt clods off, but let me get the 3 biggest ones off, and then the next one comes in and you've got some dirt clods, but not those same dirt clods. So let's knock off these new dirt clods. type of thing. And by the time you get to the third year, you're starting to develop your own style. And so how I would write the story would probably be different than the way you write the story, because you have a different style. And so because I don't want to stop people from developing their own style, but on the other hand, I don't want them developing a stupid style. So, and sometimes, I had a news director who we later found out was on cocaine. But he came in and he told me, Terri, you should have done the story this way. And he said, you should have put 3 pictures, just 1 second each in the middle. And I went, God, are you on drugs? I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh gosh, how that turned out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it turns
Rapid
out he
fire.
was.
I wonder where that came from.
But it's kind of like I listen to him go, oh, okay, yeah, right. And then about 5 weeks later, I ran into a story and I went, oh my God, this is the perfect transition. And I went bing, 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 and then he always called up after the newscast and he said, damn it, Reddout, you actually listen to me sometimes, and I go, yeah, when it's appropriate.
Just some good filtration you need every now and then. You're like, I'll listen to this one and then the other one will pass by.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's really good to get feedback. Oh, the other day in news, remember, did we go out and do the out in the Irene Reinhardt Park and we did fake live newscasts? No, that could, because you guys were in winter, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's a spring thing that we do. I give them a scenario and then I say, all right, Evan Couch is live at the Irene Reinhardt State Park where a young boy has been missing. Evan, tell us what's going on, that kind of stuff. And then you've got to talk for a minute.
Oh, wow.
Ad lib, just based on something that I gave you 4 minutes beforehand. And anyway, so we went out and did that. And then we came back and I said, well, what do you guys want to do tomorrow? And they said, how about if we come up with some scenarios and you have to go out and do stand-ups based on those scenarios? I went, excellent, bring it, And oh my gosh, the first one was ROTC upstairs was training squirrels to be surveillance squirrels, and they put little jackets on them with little GoPros in the jacket. Oh, and I was supposed to, do a stand-up based on that. And I went, okay. So we went outside to a tree and I said, if my knees weren't crap, I'd be sitting down on the ground and I'd say something about, this whole plan sounds a little squirrely, but it's not really when you take a look at what they're trying to do. And then I said, then we'd look up at the tree and you'd see all the branches and stuff. And I say, you can just imagine, a squirrel running around up there, getting video and stuff that a regular Army guy could not get, So the best one though, oh my gosh, it ended up taking in ethics and all sorts of stuff. They said that the university president had gone to Yakima and bet university money on a flamingo race.
Oh, look at that.
There was 2 flamingos. The flamingo he bet on was 10-to-1 odds. He won the money and he's coming back to Central and giving it back to the university. Okay.
It's genius. Why don't more presidents do that?
You gotta get funding.
Okay. How do we know this? Have there been charges filed? Well, no, but somebody saw him at the betting parlor. Okay, no, that's not going to work, So we talked about, you can have rumors and that kind of thing, but you can't report rumors. You've got to nail down stuff.
TMZ does all the time.
Yes, they do. But TMZ, TMZ, not my ethics, but they do break stories.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. I'll give them that.
They do. It's always surprising when that happens because then you go, that's TMZ, right? That can't. And then you look at it, you're like, all right.
Yeah, but you know when TMZ finally gets one, they're just like, we got it.
Yeah. So, because I never, you know, I always see him like tracking somebody through the airport, and it's like, what the, you know, are they going to say, I'm madly in love with Russell Crowe, you know, or something like that? No, they're just trying to get off the damn plane to their car and get home type stuff. But, you know, they end up getting video of football players beating up their girlfriends in elevators, you know.
Yep.
There it is. Yeah. So not my cup of tea, but
what is your cup of tea as we transition here into your future? You know, we talked about CNW and, you know, you're putting that behind you for now or permanently. We'll see. I'm not going to count you out. I know how you are. You told so many stories about your eBay selling and whatnot. And you told me that you want to focus on that a little bit more. Like how do you plan on doing that? What are your plans for that? Because that's pretty cool. It seems like you're really into that.
I am totally into it. A month ago, I went to an auction and I paid $180 for a huge set of, you know, brand name china. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. I can sell the soup tureen out of that thing. It's a huge, it was like 90 pieces. I sell the soup tureen to replacements.com and I can get $480.
Jesus. Is this, do you know this going in, or when you're like looking and you see that China set, you're like, okay, I'm gonna look that up real quick, or do you already kind of have an idea of what it's worth?
Yeah, I had a limit. You know, I said I wasn't going to go over $200, and I went to 180. I mean, now that I've researched it and whatnot, I could have gone higher, but I got it for 180. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then my brother went to a yard sale and there was a box of teacups. And he kind of looked at it and the lady said, do you want, you know, are you interested in teacups? And he goes, no, I'm not, but my sister is. And she says, I'll give it, you know, I'll sell it to you for $5. So he brings it in, you know, leaves it. And I go in and look, and the first teacup I pull out, I do the comps on it. It's listed and it has sold for $249.
Good Lord.
Oh my gosh.
Why are you still teaching?
I was gonna say, I was like, maybe I just quit my job real quick. I love searching for stuff. It's turning into Storage Wars or American Pickers or something.
Yeah. No,
American Pickers.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna climb around like American Pickers, but but I mean, those are the, you know, I also bought 3 jackets at a yard sale for $10, and I'm going to sell each of them for like 19.
My roommate did that. I talked him into buying a jacket. It was a cool retro Nike golf jacket from Goodwill. I think he bought it for, I don't know, like $16, which is a little pricey, I felt like, but I was like, oh, you could easily flip that thing for like $45. I'm pretty sure he lost money on it when he ended up selling it, because he had to pay more for the shipping than he realized. And he's like, yeah, I actually lost money on that. So thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
No. I don't pay for shipping. They pay for shipping. So, I mean, that's a lesson I learned pretty early on, but yeah, I just love the thrill of the hunt. You know, I was thinking I need to go visit my niece. She lives over in Bremerton. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and I went, oh my God, there's a set of china over there that they're selling for $35. I could sell each plate for $35, you know? Oh, I need to get over there. You know, I mean, it's just this whole, it's like a detective, you know, you're looking for clues, and I'm looking to see, you know, is this china worth anything? Or is it, you know, should I just ignore it and move on? And yeah, it's just been amazing. And here's the cool thing that I hadn't expected is I get so many cool stories. You know, I sold my brother had somebody gave him a bunch of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer things, and he wanted to get rid of them. So there was a little thing like this that was Yukon Cornelius, and he pressed his hand and he says, "I'm Yukon Cornelius," you know. And so I list it, and somebody buys it, and before I even ship it, she sends me a note, and she says, "You have made my holiday, because I had a fur baby." She had a cat that died 5 years ago. And when the cat had died, she got rid of everything that would remind her of the cat. You know, she's grieving, she just got rid of everything. Right. And then she said, "You know, I just got a little nostalgic." And I went on eBay and I started looking, and she said, "That is the exact toy that was my cat's favorite toy." Oh. And she said, "I'm so excited to get it." And another lady bought a set of Mikasa china that was Christmas china, sent it off to her, and she said that she was so excited to get it. When she saw it, she just hit buy right away, because she had been looking at some old photographs, and it was her father who had died with her kids, and they were sitting at the breakfast table, and they had that china on the table. And she said, "It just brought back such great memories, and I'm so excited to get this to create memories with my kids." And then this one lady, she offered me, like, really undercut me on the offer. And so she said, "But I have a story." And she's opening up this tea shop in a place south of San Francisco. And instead of having mismatched plates on each table, she wants each table to have its own set of china, which is kind of a cool idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she tells me the name of her store. Okay. It's by the beach, and she's calling it By the Tea Shore.
Oh, that's good.
And I went, "Oh my God, that's so brilliant," you know. And she said, "I'm copywriting it, so don't steal it." Yeah. And everything. And I said, so I developed a relationship with her where if I get a set of china that I think would be good for her business, I let her know first before I ever list it, type of thing. But By the Tea Shore, how cute is that?
She sells tea by the tea shore.
Yeah.
So you're basically like her. You're what's the word?
I'm her supplier.
Yeah, I was
gonna say plug.
I was gonna say plug too, but
yeah,
it's not as professional.
No, a former student, I showed him, we were talking on the phone and about stuff, and he asked me about eBay stuff, and I sent him a picture, and he says, "Oh my God, Terri, you're just," he says, "You're like a drug dealer." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, you have to get supplies, and you have to test it, you know, to see how much it would cost, you know, how much I could price it out." And he says, "You have drug mules." And I really did have people. I said, "Will you go and buy this for me? And then when you come over, bring it." And I mean, I'm a China drug dealer. So
there you go.
You know.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's going to be in headlines at the end of the week.
Yeah.
CW professor admits to being a China drug dealer.
I got to work in, what's that? You know, my little gun, you know, do you want to see my little gun? You know, that kind of thing. I got to work that in somehow. So.
Something I was thinking about during this is like everybody has their hobbies or niches, right? But a lot of the time it's like an individual thing, which is great. But it seems like this starts off that way, and then it really rabbit trails to, like, you know, instead of just profit and stuff, it's like you're making connections with people, and then getting to learn family history, and like, and then maybe even stuff about yourself that you didn't know. So like, I think that's super cool that this is like a avenue, you know, that you're really pursuing. Is there any, it seems like China, you just called yourself a China drug dealer. Is there,
trademark?
It seems like that's pretty common. I didn't really,
that's going to be your eBay name, China drug dealer.
I don't really do metaphors, but to me, it seems like China would be like, you know, that's a pretty, you know, if you're hunting, you know, fishing, you know, you're fishing for that, like that's a fish. What do you think? So like a white whale for the community. What's something that's like, I need to get that, you know, when you see that in an auction?
That's a good question.
Wow. I kind of think that one that I bought for $180, that's my whale,
Yeah.
for right now. But at one of those auctions, there was a bunch of Continental Airline stewardess uniforms from the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then I looked it up. One of those freaking dresses was selling for $300.
Who buys that?
I don't know, but somebody does. And so I went to that auction thinking, well, okay, if I can, you know, I didn't have a lot of research into it, just kind of surfacey type of thing. And I got there was some guy who really had done his research and he got everything. I only got one thing. And he got the dress that sold for $300 and a bunch of other things. And he got them for like 40, 50, $60, you know, and I'm sure he spent $1,000 that day there. But, you know, if you're going to triple that, that's a pretty good, yeah. So anyway, it's just kind of learning to I bought a box of international Santas one time, and there was like, I don't know, 24 of them in there. And I got them for like $25. And I thought, well, okay. Oh my gosh, they sold like hotcakes. I'm not kidding. And I was selling them. I paid $25 for all of them. I was selling them. The lowest priced one was $11. You know, and then they ran up to 19. And they're gone. You know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy the stuff you get. And you just
People love knickknacks.
Yeah. I got a stupid Avengers twin size bedspread for $1. And I listed it for like 25. It sold the next day. Gone. You know, and it's kind of like I bought it because I thought,
did Deacon buy it?
Huh?
Yeah,
did Deacon buy it?
Did Deacon? Let me see your bed, huh? You know, I thought, well, if nothing else, somebody's got a dog, you know, it'd be a good dog blanket type of thing. Yep. But no, it went out at Christmas, and somebody's got a Thor and Iron Man thing on their bed. So
what's like my last question for you is, what is your biggest piece of advice for this line of hobbying, or honestly, I could say this line of work, because I think people do, and I think people could make this a full-time thing. I've seen, you know, like philanthropists and billionaires talking about how if people quit their jobs and just did full-time reselling from yard sales, they could easily make more money than what they're making like from their actual 9-to-5s.
Well, and it's just my whole family is tuned in now. You know, it's kind of like, hey, how much did I bought a stupid cookie jar at a sale, and I paid like $2.50 for it. And I got in the truck, and my brother automatically says, how much are you listing it for? You know, I said 25. And I mean, they're into it. So it's kind of fun. My house, I always say, I'm 2 cats short of being a hoarder. I mean, it is completely a mess, you know, because I've got so much stuff there. And so I'm really excited about being able to focus on that and get it organized, get it listed, get it out. You know, I mean, without any work last year, I mean, with hardly anything, eBay sent me like close to $8,000.
Jeez.
Without, you know, me really even working at it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of like I can do it, you know, on my schedule and that kind of thing. I just need a place. I need to find a place that has a room that I can shove all that stuff in. And because it's not just the stuff you're trying to list, it's the stuff that you've listed that hasn't sold yet.
Yeah.
And it's all the boxes and bubble wrap and paper and tape and fragile stickers and the whole bit that you've got to deal with as well. So nobody's coming to my house anytime soon.
Well, Terri, we wish you luck on this next endeavor that you're going to be going on. What is your what's your eBay name? So if anyone wants to actually check out what you've got for sale here, because I think I want to go on there and just
plug it.
I want to see what you've got on there. Well, you can say it and then I'll put it in the you can send it to me afterwards and put it in the links.
I'll tell you
What's
right
the
now.
name? Your street name is Chinese or China drug dealer. So
oh, it should be. I may change it, but right now it's Adventure Ant. AUNT.
It's a good one.
Yeah, because I used to take my nieces and nephews on adventures.
Oh, that's so nice.
There you go. Hey guys, it was been real thrill. 2 times in 1 year. I must be pretty hot.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the leading returning guests now. You're up in that second tier now. The only one that I don't think can be eclipsed within that time is Noah, because we're gonna have him on again shortly too. So
he's kind of like our boss though, so we're kind of obligated to have him on like once a season. So
well, maybe I could stir up some trouble and then you guys could come and interview me again, before the end of the quarter.
Yeah, maybe
I could go streaking at graduation or something like that.
I was thinking maybe more if you just decide to retire, we'll have you on again, but I think that could work too. That would drum up some conversation.
Could be the first time we break news on a student media podcast.
Yeah. Breaking news.
All right.
We have video.
Well, thank you very much, Terri. It is always
welcome,
fun
guys.
talking with you.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you, for honestly everything that you did for Deacon and I in terms of being our professors. I know I'm coming to the end here. Deacon's he's got 1 more quarter after this as well. So it's going to be a little bit different not having Terri in a communications class, a professor, or just not having any classes at all after this. So
well, there's no reason why we can't keep talking to each other.
Exactly.
So,
Terri, thank you very much. Deacon, thank you very much, brother. We will see you guys on the next episode. And Student Media Podcast signing out for this week. Thank you, guys.